How's it going, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today we have a really quick project. Got some AeroCatch hood pins that we're going to be installing on the RX-7. So I was always really paranoid about taking my car out to places because the hood pins, these guys, right? You couldn't lock this. So I didn't have a factory hood latch release inside the car anymore because we cut out that portion for the V-mount. But AeroCatch conveniently sells these with a lock and key, so kind of nice. This is the part number 1204100, and it's the above panel style. So they have two different ones. They have the one that sits on top of the hood, and then there's another one that mounts from underneath, so it's a little bit more flush, but this is a little bit cheaper, and I think it's easier to install, but we'll find that out. So I went ahead and already removed the old hood pins and put tape down on the front of the car. And next we just got to push the car out of the garage, and so we can start making some cuts in the hole and giving us some room to work on the car in the garage. So let's get to it. Went ahead and laid some blue painter's tape down on the hood. Now granted, I had hood pins previously. I had some Sparcos, but I went ahead and marked out where I believe the hood pin's gonna lay. Now I'm thinking of doing like kind of like an angle outwards, so they're not gonna be dead straight, which is kind of cool. Got the other one too, all marked up. Now the thing with these is you don't get a second chance, so measure, 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 and then measure again. So got it all kind of where I think I'm gonna have it, but just to make sure that they're exactly identical, what I'm gonna do is, so once I do one, I think I'm gonna do this one first. I'm gonna measure and cut a template for the actual hood, and then we can flip it in reverse for the other side, so they're exactly the same. So at least that's how I'm gonna do it. I've never seen anyone else do it. I just see them kind of use the template and draw them on there and then pray that they're the same. But I think this way it should be 100% identical. So let's get to cutting. All right, guys, so these are gonna be the tools that we will be using. So nothing more than just a normal Dremel. Sorry. I have a couple different diameters for some sanding drums, but the star of the show is actually this guy right here. So this is designed to cut in and out vertically, right? So we can cut out the pattern, and then we'll come back with our drum sanders. So let me get my respirator and my goggles on, and let's start cutting the hood. All right, so when you're doing this, definitely wear some eye protection and some lung protection. So I got everything on right now, and I got this little bit right here. So we're just gonna go ahead and have at it. All right, so I just finished installing the very first AeroCatch. So let's take a look at, well, it's not finished. It's not fully installed. This is it. So Nice and sturdy. Pops up, no resistance, and out it goes. So I still need to trim quite a bit underneath the hood so that I can actually get the screws in. So I'm gonna kind of square this off because as much as I kind of like this kind of poking through right here, you actually can't get the backing plate underneath. So yeah, that's the next step. And I really should have put something down, like a nice little tarp, because it's a mess, but that's all right. That's what compressed air is for, right? All right, I'm gonna keep plugging away at this. All right, guys, so that is AeroCatch number 1 done. Let me show you how it turned out. So first and foremost, I will say I went with this location on the RX-7 because the hood pin was already kind of cut and I already had a big gaping hole. So that's why I went with this location, and we'll talk about some of the problems that I had with this spot versus some of the other guys I've seen. They've put them up in this section kind of horizontally, and I've seen others where they go kind of in the middle of the hood, but I can't do that because I already had a hole here. So let me show you why it's such a big deal. On the bottom you have this retaining plate, which is hugely convenient because it adds additional surface area for you to clamp the AeroCatch onto the hood. So you put the little nuts and the retaining plate, you screw in through the top, and you get lots and lots of clamping force on the actual hood to keep everything nice and stable. You do have to cut quite a big hole to kind of get the retaining plate under the hood. So obviously I try to keep as much of the integrity and strength of the hood as possible. But up here on the very front, let me see if I can get a good picture of it. Up here on the front, where the 2 layers of carbon fiber meet, there's a lot of resin and stuff inside of here. So I actually had to drum out quite a bit. And I even had to clearance out the plate to basically fit. So I still have the ridge. There's still lots of strength at the front. But if you were to do it in a different location, you would probably have a lot more material to work with without that stuff getting in your way. So if you have an RX-7, just let it be known if you run it here, you will experience that issue. Overall though, I think it came out great. Everything lines up really nicely. I get a solid engagement. It doesn't bind, so really good. What we'll do is we'll actually take some cardstock and we will use it as a template by locating it here on the hood, basically against where it cuts off. Draw and cut this out on it, and then we'll transfer that information to the painter's tape on the other side. So let's do that right now. All right guys, so I just went inside, cleaned off myself because I finished the second hood pin. So I'm really excited with how well this came out. It took a little bit longer than I thought it would, But it makes sense, right? Like you're making some really big holes in your hood and you want to get it right the first time. So I'm just going to give you a really quick rundown of what the final product looks like. So I dusted everything off. I still need to blow out the engine bay from all of the dust, but got them in. Everything works. Pop it up. So there we go. Now this one I was able to make the hole a little bit smaller on this side because I just kind of knew what I was working with after doing this side. But I'm definitely not a professional. This is the first time I've done this. But like I said, if you measure, and then cut conservatively and just kind of go little bit by little bit and grind away, you'll eventually get it done. Obviously, it's a whole lot scarier with a carbon fiber hood. If you have a steel hood, makes perfect sense. You might be a little less scared. I don't know. I probably would still be scared, right? Hoods are not expensive. This one already had holes in it. I've already chopped a big hole in it previously for the engine to stick out. So if I messed it up, I wasn't going to be that mad at myself. Now what I am excited for is I did have some holes and stuff like that that had pulled through on the old hood pins, and I'm glad with the size of these, all of that's kind of covered up and you don't see it. So yeah, see, look, big hole, big holes. Who's worried? I'm not worried. But anyways, that is today's video. If you like the content, if you learned something new, please comment below. I'd love to hear it, whatever you're installing it on. You know, smash the subscribe button. I really appreciate you guys taking your time out watching these videos. I'm learning as I'm doing this. I hope you're learning, and I hope you have a great day. See you next time. Peace.